Conscious Collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, changemakers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
What up, guys? I'm Emily.
And I'm Lisa, and we are the Conscious Collaboration. Hey, Em.
Part 2. Hey, what's
Part
up?
2. Marathon session today.
Yeah, we're doing a double header.
So this is officially the last episode of 2024.
Yeah, I got a little ahead of myself last episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to put time into context after Halloween.
Time is an illusion.
It is. It is an illusion. I just don't even know. I'm baffled. But anywho, we've been talking. It's been a while. We're kind of like curious. Let's do an energy check-in and see what our energy is like at the time of our listeners checking in with us, and then moving into 2025. So we can just really knock it out of the park.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a good time to sort of reflect, regardless of the fact that, as our beloved Steve said, there's nothing magical that happens when the Gregorian calendar turns January 1st. But like I said, it's just a good kind of bookmark for us to examine what's happening around us, examine what's happened in the last year, and just kind of do some recon, and find ourselves in a place of understanding, especially with, everybody that I'm interacting with in person lately, kind of feeling this too. So I'm sure our listeners are, but there've been a lot of energies kind of interacting with each other that have made things very, I don't know if intense is the right word, or just, there's just a lot.
There's a lot happening.
Not as heavy as it was maybe a few months ago necessarily, but interrupted sleep and just a lot going on. And of course, you always kind of have that hectic sort of feeling anyway around this time, as people are rushing to get deadlines met by the end of the year, and whatever, if you're doing holiday shopping and traveling and just kind of getting things together, getting all their appointments in so that their insurance coverage isn't wasted.
If you have insurance, use it if you got it.
If you have insurance, right? For those of you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember what that's like.
Oh, so many things talking about.
Maybe we shouldn't open. I was going to say, maybe we shouldn't open the health insurance can of worms today.
Let's just throw all the weirdness, the pop culture weirdness, and I don't want to go into the whole thing.
Luigi
and drones. All kinds of weird stuff happening. There's just weird times. So let's see, what is the energy around the conscious collaboration, and what should we know moving into 2025 to have the most clarity and ease? Woo. So the energy around us right now is easy progress.
I like that one. We've gotten that once or twice before.
Yeah.
And that's definitely welcome right now.
Yeah, easy progress.
That's what we're moving into. I welcome that with open arms.
Hexagram 35, fire above and earth below. And then moving into 2025 with great vigor.
All right. That's those are seemingly
exciting.
opposite a little bit, or maybe not
Easy progress
opposite, but
and then great
easy and
vigor.
vigorous,
So,
Although what it actually reminds me of is the interplay of masculine and feminine energy that
mhm,
we're kind of always tapping into.
mhm.
Easy progress, letting it be more feminine, the more energy of allowing and receiving,
Yeah.
but still, being able to move with great vigor to actually make progress.
Yeah, it's getting the momentum going. So, to have the easy progress and then building into great vigor, I think it bodes very well, because if we're in the current energy of easy progress, I think that's very positive. Setting yourself into great vigor moving into 2025, having a lot of energy, feels very momentum building to me. But let's see. We have three, four, three, two, one. So a lot happening. So there's a lot of change lines within ourselves, within our interpersonal relationships, and within our earth environment, as well as top line energy changing, which is higher self, universe, God, divine. So there's a lot, naturally, a lot of changing energy at this time. So people may feel a little disoriented. Um, yeah. But conscious collaboration, we are in a period of easy natural progress. What has been weak is ascending, and by gaining a prominent position, will become more powerful. One image here is the light of the rising sun, which at first appears dimly through the mist. But the same light will radiate with powerful clarity once the sun has reached its highest position in the sky. Progress is made when those in supporting positions make peace with those in leadership, and in doing so, create natural means for their talents and abilities to become more visible. This really does feel like our listeners, I think, a lot. The change makers, thought leaders, entrepreneurs.
I
So
think
we're
we're
very
in
much,
that early phase of the sun where it's just peeking through the mist, or however it's.
yeah. I mean, just with easy progress, trusting that, the sun is going to rise and be visible through the mist, the fog. When the path of the weaker aligns with that which is strong, is when you achieve the most effortless shining. So think about authenticity, shining through, all very good. That top line energy changing talks about when strong energetic action is required to achieve progress. Make certain that your ducks are in a row before you start. Be particularly careful to avoid the overly energetic initiatives of people with whom you don't have a close relationship. So I think this is important for conscious collaborators. Like, be really conscious about who you're collaborating with. We were talking about this offline too. Everybody gets the message in this time. You're hearing it through astrology and tarot and all the talk of, the age of Aquarius and period 9 and feng shui, that collaboration is the key to success, but be very discerning about who you're joining forces with. Because if a bridge can't handle the weight, don't use it. So don't just haphazardly join forces with someone because they're the easiest.
Yeah.
um, most attainable, maybe find someone that's stronger, that can carry the weight, that has the capacity and the bandwidth, and you can really trust them. So put some context around that. Pushing ahead brings good fortune. So that's great. With the support of those who are above and below, progress is unstoppable. We were literally talking about this. You know, Emily and I were talking before we started recording, even the episode previous. I was researching, I came across someone else in the DMs that had an episode around conscious collaboration that found us and came into my Cloud9 DMs, and really good supporter. commenting on things. And I said, we have a lot in common. We should talk about collaborating on our podcast, because she has a podcast as well too. It's actually very health focused and collaboration focused. Is everybody is talking about collaboration, but is it because they're trying to like get the visibility, or is it because they're feeling like you're very aligned with the same intentions, or with the same greater good vision? Because I think like this doesn't happen to us a lot. I see this in Facebook groups for podcasts, for example. People are just looking to get on any podcast.
You know what that makes me think of is like there's like a Whole Foods version of and I don't mean the grocery store, but I mean literal like whole natural food.
Yeah.
There's like a whole natural version of collaboration, and like the social media collab kind of processed food version of collaboration. And I think that's about the intention behind it. But where in one might be kind of along the lines of instant gratification, and okay, yeah, I get this like superficial visibility, whatever. But then when you and maybe the Whole Foods version of it is not so dramatic and instantaneous, like right up front. But over time, your ROI from finding those whole natural collaborations is way like puts you in a complete other universe from the processed food version of it.
Yeah, I agree. And it makes me think too, like, I like that perspective a lot. But it makes me think too, just in terms of, I want to say like, I'm like just bringing it back to collaborating in terms of business. And we get some inquiries, and I know I handle like a majority of them, but we get some inquiries that are really just like, hey, I saw your title and that resonated with me, and I'm looking to be a guest. But just because you see the title or like what our picture thumbnail looks like doesn't mean that there's going to be anything good from having a conversation with us. Did you listen to the episode? Like, have we had a conversation? Even if we've gotten things I'm always encouraging of like people that are writing books, but it'll come from their PR, advertising their book, to probably they're looking for keywords and just sending a bunch of mass emails to people looking for someone to grab on, but there's no real thought or consideration or discernment. And similarly, it's like, I think many entrepreneurs, change makers, thought leaders out there realize the importance of building community. And, there's a lot of course development and mastermind development, and people are monetizing those. But is that a time, for example, on mastermind, do you want to just let anybody into your mastermind that can pay the entrance fee so that you get the subscription? Or do you want to vet that out and make sure it's a good fit, so it's truly building on something and benefiting people?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's kind of along the same things. Like there's still plenty of gold in them hills to be found within these mastermind programs, I think. And it's gotten so saturated because now everybody fancies themselves a mastermind. And yeah, exactly. If you've got the money to pay to be in the group, then that, I mean, it's then decreasing the quality of what you're able to offer if you just accept anybody who can pay for it, kind of. So
Yeah,
the intention
it's like
is the intention behind it,
the
right?
intention and quality over quantity. Steve and I, with the Interns of School of Feng Shui, we talk about this for certification. And we have like an application process to different things. There's some resources that you can just take by yourself just to learn or whatever. But we have an application process and then, an in-person or a virtual meeting to have that conversation because like, okay, sure, you can just have hundreds and thousands of people just enter into something. Or perhaps, you want to make sure the people that are entering into a program that you're teaching or masterminding, where you're expecting people to add value, are they going to use it? Or are they just looking for another certification? Are they going to uphold your name if they're using your name? Or like I graduated from this, certification program in a way that aligns with you and is respectful because it's going to reflect back on you, like back to the whole longevity of, um, you know, um, success. I think in my line of work in Feng Shui, we have a lineage, and it's kind of like it goes back to the grandmaster in it, and then a master, and then training apprentice, and so on and so forth. So there's a reputable lineage in that, but it's when you start like broadening it out to the masses, it can water down the lineage or the legacy of something to a degree. I don't know, that's kind of what it makes me think in terms of having a lot of energy and resources and great vigor. And as the I Ching is talking about, a lot of progress can be made when you're in this easy progress. But while you're in this easy progress, make sure that you're using discernment to point your efforts into a direction that's going to be sustainable versus just like fast money or big fame fast kind of thing. So that's more in like the interpersonal realm. Continue to push ahead because it's going to bring good fortune. Progress is going to be unstoppable when you're combining people that are a bit ahead of you and a bit below you. And you and I have always talked about that, like since the beginning of the podcast. And shout out to Michelle. Having someone that you look up to that's doing something that's showing you that it's possible to do something, and then someone that you're helping to bring up makes it like a stronger collaboration and effort. And then it says, as we go further down the line here, line 2 talks about a lack of progress can be caused simply by a lack of the right contacts. So, we did talk about that too, right? It's like who you know.
Don't ask how to ask who.
Ask who, yeah. Though this is disheartening, progress will cease entirely if you push too hard with people who have not had a chance to develop trust in you. By remaining steadfast in your efforts now, important people may notice and help you along, but only at their own pace. Avoid becoming too frustrated because of slow progress. Try to be patient.
Well, that's when you do start trying to force things, is when you get frustrated and impatient, right?
Yeah. And I think too, it's like you want to have an organic relationship with people. You're helpful people. It's not a time to be like salesy necessarily. I think making sure there's an alignment and belief and investment in the vision is what really attracts people. What's the saying, like flower and butterfly, something about attracting the butterflies?
I don't know that one.
It's like a flower doesn't need to get out and chase the butterflies kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and it goes back to the A word that we're always talking about, right? Authenticity.
Yeah.
Showing up authentically, and viewing your collaborations as relationship building and not as sales opportunities.
Yeah. It's not what's in it for you.
Yeah.
Entirely. It's what's in it for the cause or like the desired outcome.
I think that's what makes that dynamic is what makes a lot of the networking groups, even, if they start with better, different intentions, I think ultimately it can kind of get to that point where people are using it more so to try to like directly sell their stuff than to actually network and build relationships.
Yes. Yeah. I've been in some networking groups that felt so disingenuine. There was mandatory, meeting the purchasing of people within groups or, just
Mm-hmm.
you want to believe in the people that you're recommending and referring to people. So you have to kind of really know them on an intimate level and use their services and get to know them before you can make a genuine recommendation, referral, or create a service with them or a product with them. But there's just something about like first making you pay a giant due for it and then like punishing you if you don't meet the requirement. That's just my thought on it. It just, for me, that type
And
of
even
relationship.
if there's not dues and requirements, like sometimes the environment is just like, it goes a little beyond, and just kind of talking about what you do, and it's just like a kind of turns into like an advertising bulletin board, which
Mm-hmm.
defeats the purpose of it a little bit. I think you got to finesse a little bit of a, um, yeah, just a
I
smoother.
like
I
that. I
really
mean, it
do.
becomes like relationships aren't about what you do, but who you are. I
Right.
remember I was in this type of networking group where like we literally talk to each other every meeting using an elevator pitch, which I hate. Like that's so old school.
Right. I
And
think it's valid to practice it from time to time,
yeah.
but not, yeah, just to like try to forge relationships with other people that way is
Well, I mean, I said
not
it
cute.
so much. I said my elevator pitch so much that it felt disingenuine to me. Like I didn't even
Hmm.
know what it meant anymore. Like the
Hmm.
I
You just
help, blah,
memorized the
blah, blah.
line. Yeah.
It's just not even like I don't know. It just didn't even feel like who I was. It was just more of
Plus, if everybody else is using, saying this a different
a
version of the same sentence, like
right.
you're just
Yeah.
elevator pitch robots. Like,
I strongly resist that type of it just reminds me. I mean, I had a good time. I miss a lot of things about corporate, but I reject so much of that like can speak where you're almost speaking into a different language and it means nothing. Like you could say a whole hour-long meeting using corporate speak and satisfy a certain percentage of the room, but it means nothing what you just said. And it also could have just said it in an email.
mhm.
No one gets to know you or what the intent is. It's just it just gives people a level of comfort
It's like
that
presenting a book report in class,
yes,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, it's very culty. I don't know. That's just not my vibe. No, that makes you happy. I'm not gonna knock it, but it's not my conscious collaboration at the moment. Um, so line one, which is very much like internal inner self, remain calm and dedicated, and you will avoid serious mistakes that could back your progress or halt it altogether. Though advancement may be fervently desired, the hour for you to play a leading role has not yet come.
Mm.
Do not feel downhearted or resentful if no one is paying a lot of attention to you. Oh gosh, that's like as a human design projector, I read, the more I read about that, my like shadow self is resentment. Like if, the most harmful thing to me, and this has probably happened to you where you've said an idea and everyone's looking at you. like, and you're
You
sure
get
that they
shot
heard
down.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't even shoot it
They
down.
don't acknowledge it.
They
Yeah.
just don't even acknowledge it. And then someone else says it like a little bit different. And they're like, oh my God, you're so smart. I
You're
love
like,
that
that's
idea. And you're
literally
like,
what I just said.
just said that right before they said it. So it causes a lot of resentment and just like unhealthy, resentments, like the worst energy to get in. That would be, that lack mentality gets you to lack confidence. Like, why do I even bother talking? No one's listening to me. That was my idea. So now's not the time to get into that. If you're doing that inner self reflection and you're feeling like you put these ideas out and someone else said it just slightly different and they take off with it.
We can go back to a couple of episodes ago in that scenario. Because I think we're all human and we may find ourselves in that place from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the time to then catch it and change the question
Yeah.
to, okay, what do I need to believe about this situation?
Right. That's what I'm thinking too. I was reading, there's this local girl that I saw on one of the local news programs that wrote a story. And she just said, like, she came up with a story with her mom. And I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. And if she's listening, I'm so sorry. But she said an idea to her mom about a children's book. And, that they're both artists and they took it upon themselves to just churn this book out real fast. And it's a massive success. Um, and I wish I knew what it was about, but I wanted to get it for my daughter. I'll have to go back and find it. But she talked about how ideas flow through us. And if you don't act on it right away, it's going to flow through to someone else to materialize.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, like out of the whole interview, like that, we're all
Because nothing's truly original, right? So that makes sense.
Yeah, we're all artists, like channeling a vision to manifest it, to make it happen. And if we don't act on it, it's going to forcibly
And
go to someone else.
if you're in a negative self-talk spiral, whatever the source of that is, you're not likely to take any action to change that direction versus, okay, what do I need to believe to feel, better in this moment and kind of turn this dynamic around? And maybe it's finding another way to execute the idea that you just came up with.
Yeah. I really like that concept. And it goes back to also like our, taking imperfect action is better than no action at all in the case of something that's so brilliant, because it needs to come through. And if you're not going to act on it, it might have its own will to be created and go
Right, because if you're not creating it in the physical, even when it's not perfect, like that's how you make it not perfect. We're never striving for perfection, but that's how it evolves into its ultimate form, I guess, is by kind of, I don't want to say fucking it up, but just kind of, imperfect action, making starting a little sloppy, but just starting.
There's even more longevity to starting sloppy and messy and getting it out there, because then you have a chance for like a second edition, a third edition. It's like,
exactly. And you wouldn't come up with those next ideas until you
if you
go
didn't
through
get
the
it out there.
process of, we could say this about the podcast, right? Like, we didn't know what the hell we were doing, and we just started recording episodes, and here we are a couple of years later. I'm not saying we're in our ultimate form yet by any means, but
we're raging.
If we go back and listen to our earlier episodes, which are still classic, by the way, go back and listen to them. But we definitely, as we should, evolved and gotten more sophisticated, and will continue to do so, and gotten more ideas just from what we put out beforehand that wasn't quite perfect.
Yeah, we've gotten more out of it. I think too, like, operating from a place of inspired action, as we're talking about longevity and like meaningfulness, we've gotten so much out of the podcast from imperfect action rather than planning and over planning. And is this perfect enough? And have we scripted it well enough? And now it's, it's rather attracting, right? I'll say, even, I think that's one thing that build authenticity, but that's one thing that attracts people is, feeling comfortable, feeling like someone can hold space or meet you where you are.
Well, because imperfect action is authenticity. I think they're really, if they're not the same thing, I think they're
very related,
deeply connected.
Yeah. So this is really exciting. Moving into 2025. Great vigor. It even starts with congratulations. Yay! There is strength and vigor in the situation, like that of a ram that knocks down a fence to free himself from captivity. This points to a time when a strong force comes into its own and asserts its power.
This is the ram is Aries, right? Which is also the first sign in the zodiac. The youngest and sort of full of vigor, right? That fire energy, and it's the Fool card. So
is it an Aries?
It's the new side. It's the number is the 0 actually. The 0 card in the tarot. The Fool is, so it's really perfectly aligned with New Year energy.
Is it an Aries moon in January if we're in a Gemini moon now?
I have no idea.
Does it go backwards or forwards? I don't know. Okay.
I have no idea, but it would be Taurus if we were going. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. No idea.
Oh, it would be Taurus. I don't even get it right.
I think the moon moves through the signs at a pace that's not totally congruent with the month. I don't know.
Okay. I get that.
Out of my scope, okay?
Can't be
I'm like a Fisher Price astrology person. Just the basics.
But it has been a talk with all of our favorite astrologers and tarot card readers, this Fool energy. I know I heard Steve talk about it, and
but connecting that Aries, the ram, that youthful starting, in the tarot, even when you start with the Fool, you're like starting a new level. You've completed a cycle, and you started over because you didn't get the lessons, or you're starting a new level because you did.
Yeah.
So that's like good energy for going into 25.
So the caution here is with this great vigor that you have is a lot of responsibility, because the key to success here is to not feel arrogant, because that's the seeds of its own undoing. It's to act with responsibility and realize that you're in an influential position, and to react with care. So it's not just like with this great vigor, the sun is shining brightly, you busted through with whatever idea and vision that you're holding and intention. It's not
at all costs.
It's not all about you. It's for the greater good. So not that you can't have your moment and celebrate, congratulations, but if we're talking about conscious collaboration too, it's just reciprocity and making sure that you're not
that distinction between confidence and arrogance.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Still having space to be wrong, or still making space for somebody else's idea to be a little better, or whatever.
It's like it's delegate
the team player things.
Yeah, so I like this.
It's a good true reading. Leadership anyway, right? Like,
yeah, it's the conscious leader that that makes those. It's that
you're not infallible.
Yeah, continued growth, continued momentum, building on that great vigor. I think this is a great I Ching reading. So for those that want to research a little more, if you look up hexagram 35, change line 6, 3, 2, and 1. And
3, 2, 1.
That's a lot.
2025.
Happy New Year. That's a lot of change lines. So you guys might be feeling like a lot of pressure and squeezing through that, like, trying to push the toothpaste out the hole of an almost empty tube kind of thing. But good job. Is what I have to say. I think, good job.
We're going to make it. We're going to make it.
We're going to make it after all.
We're gonna make it after all. Had to.
Yay! So
Happy
New Year. Yeah, that was good. That was a good double header sesh that we had.
Yes.
I'm excited. I've got 2 big deadline projects that I'm churning out right now, and then I'm taking a little trip with the kids. And I know you have a trip.
Going to Louisiana. I'm calling Baton Rouge.
Ooh.
If anybody knows that song. Classic from Garth Brooks.
I've never been.
If you know, you know.
I don't know, but I know you, so it'd be cool.
Maybe look that one up. I don't know if I'm going to belt Garth Brooks into the microphone right now.
Nope, I'll look it up.
If I start, I won't stop.
I'll take your word for it.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Happy New Year. Happy trip around this year. It's so crazy. Yeah.
It was a trip, all right.
It was a trip. I know, like, reflecting back to 2020, end of 2023, me going into 2024, I thought there was no way I could have predicted anything that happened in this year playing out the way that it did. There's just no way. People are like, "Oh, what are your goals?" I just don't think it's a good idea to try to set goals, because I don't think I would have even been able to fathom some of the things, like, looking back.
Yeah, I think it was a setup for really great things to come, though.
Yep. So, all right. Well, we will see you all next year. Same time, same place. You can come join us inside of the Conscious Collaboration Collective, our closed and private Facebook group. Find us on Instagram, hit us up in the DMs. And don't forget to leave us a review and subscribe so you can get notifications on when our next episode comes out. All right. Talk to you in 5.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few. Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.